Welcome to this time out with Marcus Ikure. It's been a while, so good to hook up with you again. I've been following up with this issue of flood, the flood disaster all over Nigeria, that has rendered a whole lot of people homeless today, that has taken so many lives. It's such a pathetic situation and a situation that we cannot actually fold our hands and just watch, this kind of disaster just rocking our people, like that. A few things I want us to look at in this regard. Now, first and foremost, I only want to say a very big thank you on behalf of mEtv to as many as possible that have taken it upon themselves directly or indirectly to render one form of aid or assistance to those who are displaced. I really want to say a very big thank you to them. And I also want to uh, um, sympathize with families that lost their loved ones to this disaster. We know the flood is not yet over. People are still suffering out there. There are a lot of IDP camps here and there, and all that. My heartfelt, sympathy goes to everybody that is affected directly or indirectly. But I want us, after this much, to also learn the lesson objective from this situation. Now, three things basically were responsible for this flawed experience. Number one, the global warming effect on Cameroon, which appears to be on the upper region, climate-wise or, and all that. Then number two, the effect of the dredging that is supposed to have been done on the Niger River, that's the River Niger, that government has consistently ignored, has not done anything about. Then thirdly, the issue of drainage, which is a serious challenge in the African context. Now, in Nigeria, we make so much money, and our government seem to be, as in, seem to be, as in, not sensitive to the challenges, of the people. Now, you have a whole lot of drainage issues, problems all over Nigeria. In Nigeria, people tie roads, you don't see drainage system. They just tie road without drainage system. No planning. Now, if government had done the needful, because this is not the first time we're experiencing this kind of situation. It has happened before, and a whole lot of people died, a lot of people lost their investments and all that, and it's happening again. There is a saying that if you get stalked by the same incidents for more than one, well, maybe two times or three times, then you deserve to get your head sticked off. That is the truth. What is the essence of planning? If we had planned, if our government had done the needful, we wouldn't be talking about all this disaster and all this situation we're talking about. All the effect would have been reduced seriously. Now the question is, must we or should we always attack issues from, or should we always be on the reactive side of issues rather than the proactive side? That is a very big question for everyone to answer. Because if government had done the dredging of the River Niger, the effect would have been reduced. If government had done good drainage system, now government actually met with the Cameroon government, and a whole lot of things were discussed. What were those things that were discussed? Were they implemented? And I read from a document that the contract for the dredging of the River Niger has been awarded, severally, but these monies you cannot account for it. In a situation where you give out contract worth about maybe 2 billion, then the government system siphons, as in you take off, 2 billion, you extort 2 billion from this money from the contractor, and they give a contract of 4 billion, you extort, you take away 2 billion, and you are giving 2 billion for the contract. How do you expect quality delivery on the job? It's not possible. And that is why many of our contracts in this country, they are not being carried out. They are not being implemented. And those who are in government do not even have the effrontery, the right, the local standing to go after such contractors to ensure that the contracts are implemented or to checkmate them because their hands are stained. So it's a serious challenge. There are no drainage systems anywhere. Must we always be on the reactive side rather than proactive side? That is the question for everybody. Now, today we have IDP camps everywhere. Government officials, they are running up and down, carrying bags of rice, bags of gari, relief materials and all that. Should this always be our story? when ordinarily doing the right or taking the right step would have averted this kind of disaster. Now, the question again is how much relief is government giving now, or that even the private entities are going to give to these people that will actually equate the loss they've suffered from this disaster? Right in our very eyes, many lost their lives. Is there any amount of relief you're going to give that's going to equate the lives of people who died as a result of this? I watched a 10-seater bus fully loaded, being carried away by this flood. How can you really compensate for these families who are in pains right now? How? What about the young man out there who took loan and invested in poultry business, or took loan, invested in fishery business, and when this flood came in, it wiped away their entire investment? How do you expect them to pay back this kind of loan? Is there any relief you are going to give to them that will really equate and bring their lives back to normal? Now, these are the questions. That is why it is better we avoid that reactive part. It is always good and better to be on the proactive part by doing the needful. Philip Kotler will always say it is better to do what is strategically correct rather than what is immediately profitable. So I think I've spoken so much on this. Government should, they should wake up to reality. Our government in Africa should wake up to reality. Nigerian leaders should wake up to reality. That is the truth. Because we cannot continue like this anymore. We cannot continue. Once again, I really want to appreciate private individuals, NGOs, and even some politicians who are beginning to take steps, giving relief materials and all that. On our own part, we are reaching out to some agencies. We are talking with some agencies to see how we can also support in terms of relief materials and all that kind of stuff. But we cannot continue like this. That is just the truth. This is a very pitiable situation. It's very pathetic, and we have to do something tangible to avoid this kind of disaster happening again, because we have faced it before. The other time we had a lot of IDP camps. Now we are repeating the same history again. Should we continue like this? In the Western world, it can never happen. It won't even happen in the first place because they are proactive. They would have planned and put necessary machineries and measures in place to ensure that this kind of thing doesn't happen anymore. So I just hope this is not going to happen again. I just hope government is going to do the needful, because the biggest responsibility, one of the priority, number one responsibility every responsible leader or government owes to the people is protection of lives and property. By the time the lives and property, the lives of the people of the citizens and their properties are no longer protected, then there's no leadership. That is what we are facing today, and that's what we are suffering today. I think I want to put a stop to it here. Thank you very much for staying tuned to me. Keep watching mEtv. If you have not subscribed, subscribe to my channel and encourage your friends to do so. Then keep supporting us. Thank you, and keep flying. Nothing can stop you. Bye.